This is the Eufy C210 smart lock. This is part of our series on smart locks for less than $100. The Eufy C220 is identical except for it has a biometric fingerprint scanner. Let's quickly run down some of the features. It takes the standard Schley keyway, so if you want copies, you'll be able to get them at any locksmith shop or hardware store. It can be controlled from anywhere with a built-in Wi-Fi. There's no separate bridge that you need to plug in somewhere around the house. We have a video on installing smart locks. I'll put a link to that down below in the description if you want to take a look. Now, one of the nice things about Eufy is they have 18 months customer service. This lock will store up to 100 user codes. It has a tamper alarm that's triggered by an unusual attempt to open it, and it'll unlock with your phone using the Eufy app, a PIN code, physical keys, an Apple Watch, or your voice with Alexa or Google Voice Assistant. Now, it is a grade 3 lock, so it doesn't have any whiz-bang security features, but it's no worse than any other grade 3 lock you're going to pick up at a hardware store. On the bottom of this lock, right here, there is a USB-C port that you can use to temporarily get power to it in case your batteries die. You're not going to be locked out. Now, the 4A batteries that work this lock last approximately 8 months. Let's dive into the app, set up some users, check out the interface, and see the features of the lock that you can control from your app.
I'll put a link to this product down below in the description if you want to take a look at it in more detail on Amazon. After you install the lock, just keep the cover open because now we have to sync this to the phone. Press this sync button, which is right here, until we hear the beep. Now we're going to calibrate the lock. So this is where it's going to determine whether or not this lock is left-handed or right-handed. Now the lock is set up. And let's go ahead and set a passcode. I'm just going to put in something simple. 11223344. And that completes the basic setup of the lock. See if that passcode works. And we've got the first passcode in the lock. You can see on my phone that I did get the indication that the lock was opened. Real quick, let me stop this video. Hey, please smash the like button down below. Subscribe to our channel for notifications. YouTube loves it and it helps us content creators out. Back to the video. Now that we have the lock installed, look at the app here. It is indicating that the door is locked and I can drag that to unlock the door. Full control of locking and unlocking the door from anywhere you have a phone connection. How do you add a user to the Eufy Smart Lock? You go under Manage Access and you can click Add Access. That gives you the capability to add a permanent access code that can be used anytime, a scheduled access code that can be only used in certain time windows, or a one-time use code that can only be used once. Let's create a test code. I'm going to go ahead and assign a one-time use code. You can set the start date, the expiration date of that code, as well as the schedule for that code to be valid. One thing about user codes in Eufy, they cannot be too simple. If I tried to put something in like 11111 as a user code, it would come back and tell me that that is not a valid code to use. So it does require it to be a little bit different. So let's set a code. Let's go 12344321. And that one-time use code is now enabled, and because I didn't set any parameters, it can be used at any time. The way the lock works, let's touch it to wake it up. So that's how you set a user code for the Eufy Smart Lock. Let's check that one-time use code and make sure it's been removed from the system. And I get an error showing me that the code is no longer valid. Very easy to add users to the Eufy lock. If I go into my events screen, that will tell me all of the history of the lock, whether the door has been locked or unlocked manually, as well as what user used a PIN code to get in. Let's go into the tools of the lock. I have the capability to set this up for auto lock. After a certain amount of time, it will automatically lock the door. It guarantees that your door is locked. The lock has one touch locking from outside of the house. I can wake it up, press and hold, and it will lock the door behind me. Try protection will allow you to lock the lock down after so many failed attempts. and you can set the time that the lock becomes inactive for, from 1 to 5 minutes. Now there is a Scramble Passcode feature, which I've shown in other locks. It's one of my favorite features of the lock. This one will let you put in 12 digits, and so long as your code is embedded somewhere within those 12 digits, you'll unlock the door. This is a great feature if you have somebody looking over your shoulder. I have a code of 11223344. Let me just put a couple digits before that, and it unlocks the door. So if you have a 4-digit code, you can bury it in with a bunch of other numbers to confuse anyone who's looking at you entering the code. Now, what if you want to remove a user from the lock? You can remove access to a user from the app from anywhere, because you don't know when a relationship's going to fall apart. This allows you to just quickly remove that user from your lock. You just select them, you hit delete access, and they're gone. I really like the lock. It has a nice finish. It's going to match the other hardware in your house. If you have a Schlage keyway, you can key it up to your existing house key so that you have one key that still works all of your locks, including the override key. It's proven easy to install. And the app, I gotta say, is one of the most user-friendly apps I've seen on a smart lock. At the price point, this is hard to beat. I definitely say this is a locksmith recommended product. I'm Robert, thanks for watching.